Hey guys, welcome back. This is Casual from Casual GG, and we are back today with another video for Diablo 4. This is my main build, which is a Werebear Druid, and it's all about an easy gameplay where you are on the face of your targets, just tanking and absorbing all their damage and then dishing it out. So the main purpose of this build is to help in our journey from level 25 to level 50 and then doing that Capstone dungeon to unlock World Tier 3. This will give you the easiest playthrough in that journey, and how I've done it is the most casual way. So when we play through from level 25 to 50, we get random legendary drop with some aspects. Probably in the journey we'll move aspects once or twice, but we're not gonna go into each of the legendary, look at all the stats and re-roll them. That's not gonna happen, right? We're just gonna have some gear, mix and match it, make sure the aspects are synergizing to each other, and then enjoy the journey to level 50 and Capstone and unlock that World Tier 3. All kinds of stat optimization and so forth is gonna happen after that. So this is the full gear layout of what I'm using in this build. So you guys can see some of my gear, most of my gear in fact is level 40, and some of it is even below level 30, but it all synergizes and works well, as you guys can see in the playthrough. So use this as a guide, and one thing, try to make sure your weapon is rare though, because weapons directly influence the damage of our skills, and weapon keeps on scaling fast as we level up. And once you reach World Tier 3, then we can focus on finding sacred legendaries which will last with you longer, so you can look at optimizing them and keeping them with you. So first, let's look at the aspects which are making up this build. We have a set of 4 offensive aspects which works in synergy. So all these offensive aspects kind of work together to empower the pulverized core skill, and that's how we burst down mobs or bosses. Now let's look at the defensive aspects that makes this build. Aspect of disobedience is a must to all characters in Diablo 4 currently, so put it on your helmet or your chest. It's a great damage mitigation. Aspect of might works well with this build because we do a lot of basic attacks to build up our primary resource, which is spirit. So every time you swipe slap, you're gonna get damage reduction. There's 20% damage reduction, and this is gonna be up most of the time. And the third one is something you use in the journey to a level 50 and Capstone dungeon, and that's the focus of this build currently. But once you reach World Tier 3, I would say replace this with something else. There are other defensive aspects which can replace this, but till level 50 and Capstone dungeon, this is great for a Werebear build, because one of the most important thing about Werebear is that we must be healthy so we do more damage. And this bubble, it gives a good dome with protection for sure, but the bubble only triggers when we're not healthy, and the bubble just becomes a timer to drink a potion and heal up. Eventually this becomes a norm and part of your rotation, and then you can lose the bubble. So let's move on to our skill tree. In terms of basic skill, what you're gonna get is Maul, and the next unlock gives you Fortify every time you swipe. And the morph you're gonna select is the one which has 20% chance of knockdown. This is good because even up to elite you can knock them down and just pulverize them to oblivion. So the next skill we're gonna look at is on the core skill, and we're gonna get pulverized. One of the top 3 most damaging skill that the Druid has, is a must-have for a Werebear build. And what you're gonna get is the next upgrade, which is gonna guarantee you an overpower every 12 seconds as long as you're healthy. Very important for a Werebear. and the morph you're gonna select is that every time you pulverize, the enemies who get hit is gonna do 20% reduced damage. Also, don't forget guys, every skill tree I'm showing the passives which comes with it. Passives are very strong in Diablo 4. Please take them as well. So next we move to the defensive skill line. Here I'm actually taking 2 defensive skills. Both of this defensive skill is gonna help us generate Fortify. Now Fortify is one of the heart of the Druid build, right? Once you get fortified, you'll see like a blue shield pop out around your life glow. So when you're fortified, what happens? When you're fortified, you take flat 10% less damage. It contributes a lot to our survivability, but don't forget, Fortify is also a status we need for one of our major offensive aspect, because what it does is, as long as we are fortified, we're gonna do up to 40% more damage. So the first defensive skill we're gonna take is Earthen Bulwark. This skill is great because on top of our Fortify, it's also gonna add another barrier shield which is gonna absorb more damage. And if that was not enough, this skill also gives us Unstoppable, right? So one of the reasons we die when we are adventuring is because we are frozen like a popsicle and someone hits us, because we are crowd control and we can't break free. So unstoppable skills are very important. We should have at least 1 in the kit. We have multiple in this build to break out of crowd control. So the next skill we have on the defensive skill line is Debilitating Roar. So this is great because once we roar, all the nearby enemies are gonna do 70% further reduced damage for 4 seconds. On top of our Fortify, we get more damage mitigation. Explains why the Werebear is so tanky. And other than that, this skill also contributes to our Fortify, and it also heals over time 4% of our maximum life. We're gonna go to the next skill line where there is an amazing skill called Trample. Now this skill does so many things. First, this is a gap closer. Second, it's also unstoppable. Third, it does good damage when you hit everyone in front of you. And fourth, it also stuns them. It's an amazing skill which is gonna give you mobility and also a way to break out of CC. And guess what guys? This skill also contributes to our Fortify build. So amazing skill to have. Moving on to our ultimate of choice, it's gonna be Grizzly Rage for sure. Awesome ultimate because what it does is further enhance our damage by 20% and also give us 20% further damage reduction. And guess what guys, while you are in the Grizzly Rage mode, it also makes you unstoppable. So if you have used up Earthen Bulwark and also Trample and they are on cooldown and you get CC'd by those hulking goatmen with that big glaive, guess what? You can just pop your ultimate and no more CC for the duration. Then we go to our key passive. I think there's only one you can take as a full Werebear build, which is Ursine Strength. This is just gonna give you more life. And also while you're healthy, you're just gonna do 30% more damage. And while we are on the topic of passives, while I was showing each of the skill tree, you guys would have noticed how many points I put into the passives on each of the skill tree. Please get them because the passives are very powerful. So next we look at Spirit Bones, very powerful passives to have for a Druid build. And the spirit bonding that I've done is with the eagle. So this is the 5 spirit bone which I am using, and they work very well with this build. So that's it guys, have a try at the build. I'm sure one of the things you guys are thinking about is what happens if you do a little bit of optimization on this character. Well, here it is in World Tier 3. I have optimized the gear set with some sacred legendaries and so forth. and that's how much damage it does. So well, that will be a topic for another video where I'll show Werebear 2.0 on World Tier 3, what type of optimization we should be looking at. Thanks so much for hanging out with me, guys. I hope the walkthrough was great. Please subscribe and like the video as well. Every single subscription is deeply appreciated. I'm Casual, and GG's, guys.